back to Wayne TV. I'm Joel Gilly. I'm joined by some very special guests with me today. We are here talking about, and I've got some cheat notes here because there's a lot of details I want to hit about this concert, but it is the Rock for Wayne concert. And we were talking off camera, this is the first time this concert's ever happened, this series.
Isn't that cool?
So I want you to go ahead and start by introducing yourself. We'll start with you.
He's John Riggs, and I'm Chris McAllister.
Chris McAllister.
Chris just took
John
care of both
Riggs.
of them, right? So talk about a little bit about how this show got started, kind of the idea for it.
For this particular show?
Yeah.
Chris works at Wayne Community College as an instructor, and I think he went to the board or Tara and mentioned that we would be willing to do it, and I guess that got the ball rolling.
Yeah.
Am I correct in saying that?
Yep,
Yeah.
that was pretty much what we did. We thought we have three of us in the band kind of do some of the administrative stuff, and then once we get stuff figured out, we run everything through the band. And a couple of us had thought, you know, what can we do to help one of the colleges? And I said, well, I work at one. Yeah. And they approached another one. And I kind of spoke up and said, you know, I work at one of these colleges. And it started growing hair after that. Yeah. We approached the foundation and said, you know, we don't want a thing, you know, we just want to give back. And I've had so many of my students, and it almost sounds cliche, the pregnant moms, the homeless, the this, the that, that's real. Yeah. I have had several of those various and sundries of examples, and I've seen them struggle to make ends meet, and the foundation jumps in there and helps them.
I'm glad you mentioned that. The foundation, I mean, it helps hundreds of students a year.
It does.
This show has the potential to raise more than $12,000 for the foundation. And all that $12,000 stays right here in Wayne County. It's helping students at Wayne Community College, which is so cool. Do you ever get weird looks when you tell your students that you're also in a Lynyrd Skynyrd band?
Well, I don't tell them, but now they know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Yeah, there you go.
No, I don't. Every now and then it comes up. I don't hide it. You know,
Yeah.
they know I'm a musician and all that. I don't usually talk about it that much because I want them to focus on, you know, their critical thinking class and the world religion class and their American history classes, and so I don't really get into me too much.
That's great. 3 great bands are going to be at this the Rock for Wayne concert. Donald Thompson Band, which is kind of the rhythm, blues, classic rock. Adam Hill, which is more your rock. And then you guys was second helping the Lynyrd Skynyrd show for the last 2 hours. So 3 great bands, a ton of music, great price too, $30 in advance, $40 at the door. And of course, all going for a great cause. There's going to be food trucks there, fun for the whole family. So really just a pretty cool local concert. There's there's a couple concerts, but this is one that's all for a great cause. So that's what we like to talk about, right?
Yeah. Right.
So I've got to take a little detour here, and you guys know Lynyrd Skynyrd, right?
We do.
I just want to know how that came about.
Golly, back in 1982 when I was in college, not dating myself at all, am I? I was doing a study on post-traumatic, what's that called? Post-traumatic
Stress disorder.
That's it.
There you go.
And of course they had the plane crash 6 years prior, and I didn't want to do it on the typical, car accident victims and plane crash survivors. And I wanted to do something out of the box. And so at the time I was a Lynyrd Skynyrd fan, so I'm like, I wonder. And through contacts that I had, I was living in Florida at the time, and a lot of we musicians knew each other. Yeah. I mean, there's a hotbed down there. The Allman Brothers guys lived there, 38 Special, Molly Hatchet, Lynyrd, it goes on and on, Tom Petty. All those musicians in all of those bands, it was the Outlaws. Yeah. We were in and out of jamming with each other. They would come in, they'd sit in on a song. Everybody knew each other. So I put the word out what I was doing, and lo and behold, I got a hold of, I think the first person I reached was Alan Collins through his dad, Larkin, and said, hey, I'm doing this. And Alan said, well, yeah, I'll tell you everything you want to know. And so I'm writing all this psychology stuff down. And he says, well, let me put you in contact with the rest of the guys. And so I called them and talked with them, struck up some pretty solid friendships with Leon Wilkeson, Randall Hall, still dear friend of ours to this
That's
day.
awesome.
I mean, I love him like a brother. And Ed King. Ed was the writer of Sweet Home Alabama and all this kind of stuff, and thoroughly interviewed him, got background on him and all this kind of stuff, and maintained contact. So
That's awesome.
5 years later, Ed and I became very good friends. And he called and said, hey, look, the band's getting back together. He wrote a letter. That was known as the internet back then.
That's what I was going to say. That things have changed so much that you were having to call these guys now. It would be just a
Right.
a Facebook message.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
And so he said, we're getting back, we're going to rehearse. So I went up to, at the time they were, Gene constantly, I have to always ask him and Randall, because I always forget the name of it. If I remember, I'll say the
There
name
you
of it.
go.
But it was at Larkin's office.
Okay.
Well, and it was just a ordinary green building. If you drove by, you went, look, you'd go, hey, look, a green building. And as you walked into the office, it was an office. It had a couple of offices, one on the right, one on the left, and straight through was this enormous studio.
Oh, wow.
And that's where they rehearsed. So I met them there, and I was sitting there listening to them, and in between rehearsals, everybody was just chatting and all this kind of stuff, drinking coffee and la-di-da. And it came up, how many shows you guys going to go out and do? Oh, we're only going to do about 10. 10? And I'm sitting there listening to the reformed Leonard Skinner. It's like, only 10? And I wasn't the only one. There were a couple of others there like, what?
Yeah.
10? And they said, yeah, we're just doing this, because it was 87, we're just doing this as a tribute to the fans. I'm like, you got to be kidding.
The fans need more.
And then it came out of my mouth. Somebody needs to do a tribute to you guys. I mean, you guys literally created Southern rock.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any idea. Well, they started laughing at me and said, well, yeah, what, the Southern Beatles? The Beatlemania, the Beatlemania? Was it going to be Leonard
Yeah.
Skinner mania? And they were like, and it never left me.
They don't understand that people in the South, they are the Beatles.
Oh,
to the
yeah,
people in the
that's
South.
true.
I mean,
That's a good point.
yeah.
I like that.
That's true. And so what had happened, I went back to Tampa, and as hard-headed as I am, it's like, laugh at me, will you? And I went back, I was in a band called Next Exit. We started playing a whole set of nothing but Skinner. Well, people liked it.
Yeah.
And it was well, let's try two. They liked it. That band broke up. When that band broke up in '88, that's when I said, I'm going to try this full-blown. People thought, they didn't know how to handle us, because all we did was Leonard Skinner. An agent got a hold of us through our manager, Gary Muchmore. He's in heaven right now. And they said, this is weird. This is like the Southern Beatlemania thing. And we're laughing. We're thinking, man, we're nothing but a bunch of hayseed plowboys. Here we are. We used to say, Gary Muchmore, our manager, took us from a garage to the national stage. And when I mean national stage, to our knowledge, we are the only cover band tribute show. We don't use the name tribute, but we did back then. To ever be on MTV. You remember when MTV was actually MTV?
when they used to play music, right?
Yeah, music and rock and
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that. We were there. It was by accident. They were doing a concert, and we had no idea they were filming it, and they filmed us, and we were
Wow.
right there. And the guy's name Loader. I
Kurt
can't remember.
Loder.
Kurt Loder, yeah.
You'll take it though, right?
Well, we took it,
Yeah.
and we used that thing. And our agent, Lustig Talent Agency down in Florida, took us, booked us all over the United States, literally, and
Wow.
Canada, and we toured. And next thing we know, 30 years later, we're still here. Now, knowing these guys several times, and John's had it happen. Ed would work with us on parts. He taught me most everything.
Wow.
He would say, do it this way, do
You're
it
not
that
playing
way.
that right.
Yeah, you're not playing that right. Curtis Lowe was a real bear. It took several phone calls. With having the phone up and playing it. Is this correct? No, try this. And it would be a lick I would get. I just couldn't do it. He's hard to copy.
Yeah.
And he would work with us a lot like that. Our very, very first bass player, um, Dave Stevenson, we would go, when Skinner toured, we would go with him, and he was just all over Leon, and so Leon worked with him personally. So we kind of take it really, really personal, because when you know these people and you're out there, because I have seen them literally say, man, this band here, you know, they're making this kind of money and they don't even play the stuff right.
You tell me what other, I know you don't like using cover or tribute, but tell me what other band has that kind of access to a band that's the caliber of Lynyrd Skynyrd. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's no other band that's doing what you're doing that has that kind of, hey, am I doing this right? That can just call up a member.
I'm not
of
sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, there's one, Randall Hall. Randall was with he played guitar for him back in '87. He took Alan's place. Randall Hall is just a great, great, great guy, and we've burnt his ear off, and I have. The bass player was for Second Helping, and myself was actually in Randall's band. We called the Randall Hall Band, and a couple of other musicians out of Raleigh. And he was very gracious. You know, he would show us this or that, and, and say, I play it this way, I play it that. It's great. But I would say, you know, Ed and Randall, without a doubt, for me personally, they helped a lot.
That's awesome.
They helped a lot.
I've got to ask, the name Second Helping, is there a backstory there?
Actually, Second Helping was Lynyrd Skynyrd's second album, right?
Okay.
Was the second? Yeah. So the name came
so
from
that's where it came from. Okay.
that album.
I had to ask because a lot of times there's backstories there, so I figured that was the easy one there for you guys. Band members, are you guys all local? How does that work?
We have, gosh, who all do we have? Our bass player lives in Raleigh. John and I live in LaGrange, and John's down in Fallen Creek. Where's everybody else from?
Deep Run.
But around in this area.
Yeah, locally.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay. Most of I think the other thing that's crazy is this is a second time, or I should say a second job for all of you guys as well, right? This is just a side hustle, but this consumes a lot of time now, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
So I'm going to hit a couple more things about this. One of the really cool things that it's on the list here is that Gene Odom, who was Ronnie Van Zant's, since he was his best friend.
He was.
And you were telling me he was over all the bodyguards? He was a personal bodyguard? Or
Head of security.
Head of security for him. So, I mean, that's, once again, crazy access that, you know, you normally don't get to meet someone that does that and survived the plane crash. Has written a book and is going to be at this event as well. We'll have signed copies and stuff. So, I mean, just for, like you said, the Southern Beatles. I mean, if you're a fan, you've got to be at this event. And so, you know, we have to thank you, of course, for organizing this event, right? But I also understand that we are going to get a little sample of what we're going to hear at the show today, right?
Sure.
I think that would be awesome. We have never had anyone perform here in our studio, so we'd love to hear some music.
Well, we know a couple of Beatle tunes.
That would be great, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, 3 great bands that are going to be there, $30 in advance. The other thing that I have to mention, because it has been hot as blue blazes lately, is the show is going to be indoors, so there's no excuse not to come. And you don't have to stay for the whole thing. If you want to head out, I know there's some fans that maybe don't want to stay out late. You can head out. There's going to be food trucks outside, so people, when they buy their ticket in advance, by the way, you know how that, like, you know when you hear, like, this is the stuff I have to say, this is where I'm at right now. So when you buy your ticket online, you're going to get an email receipt. It's going to have your name on it. So people, you get a wristband, you come inside, you can head back out and go to the food trucks, but you can bounce back and forth. So I have to say that because I know a lot of people think they're going to get a physical ticket, but we just want to let people know that when you get that email receipt, that confirmation, that's how you're going to get in and out of the show. So make sure you hold on to that. And it's all for a great cause, all for the foundation, raising money for students at Wayne Community. Rock for Wayne. You guys ready to play a little bit?
We will. One of the things I want to really press is if you're sitting at home and you are really a fan of blues rock, this is the show.
Oh, yeah.
These 3 bands don't ever play together. We're friends with each other, but we don't have it. But especially to the Lynyrd Skynyrd fans, if you're thinking, $30, huh? Here's the point. It's not just that. You're literally having all of your money help kids.
Yep.
I mean, there's just no doubt about that. Get off of your insert the word and come out and enjoy the music.
Yeah.
And know that your money, all of it, is literally helping somebody that's that needs it. What really kind of hit me well in the gut was when Tara told me that some of the people that are working there and doing this and that and all that are recipients of this stuff.
Oh, that's really
so you get to see
It's
it.
like full circle.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the students are volunteering for the event.
They
That's
are.
awesome.
And-
I do want to take a minute and show Wayne Community, of course, has put together. I've got to unfold this poster here, a really cool poster for the event. We're going to have all the information from this poster. You'll see it at the bottom of this video. So we'll have a link for people to purchase tickets. So go to that link, and that's where you can buy your tickets in advance. So I do want to say that too. But that's really cool that everything's like full circle. That people
Yeah.
have gotten this, are now being able to use it. Like you said, it's all students. And these are, I mean, Wayne Community is such an impressive organization. You know, I'm going to go ahead and say the best community college anywhere. And this money is staying right here that affects so many Wayne County families. So I think that's such an important thing.
That's
to
that's what's so important to me because you're giving back to your community.
Yeah.
You know, and you're going to get a great show out of it.
Exactly.
You know? It's
There
a
are people
$30
that'll pay
donation
$30 for less of a donation.
to-
You don't get as much back.
ensure the future of the community, right? And you get a free show out of it.
That's great. Again, 3 great bands: the Donald Thompson Band, Adam Hill, Second Helping, the Leonard Skinner Show. It's going to be from 7 to midnight, Friday, July 26th. So it is coming up. So you need to go ahead and get your tickets now in advance, $30, at the link Wayne. Through Wayne Community, sorry, and we'll have that link right down there at the bottom. We will go ahead and say that there's going to be plenty of information on the Wayne Community College website, so if you need more information or have questions, you can head over there and ask them. But now we're gonna get a little bit of music from you guys, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Let's do it. What are we gonna be hearing today?
Let's see. Let's find out.
Let's just it's just a grab bag.
No,
No.
Yep,
No.
I like it. I like it.
All righty.
no stairway.
Yeah.
Turn it up. Big wheels keep on turning. Carry me home to see my kin. Singing songs about the Southland. Miss Alabama once again, I think it's a sin. Heard Mr. Young sing about her. Heard O'Neill put her down. I hope Neil Young will remember. Southern man don't need him around anyhow. Sweet home Alabama, where the skies are so blue. Sweet home Alabama, Lord, I'm coming home to you.
Wow.
There you go.
That was so impressive. I don't have like a studio audience, but I can clap for you, right? Yeah, that was awesome. And for the young people out there, that is Leonard Skinner, just in case they're like,
right.
wait, I know that song.
Yeah.
I
I hear that on the radio.
Exactly. My parents listen to that song. No, there's so many songs and that you probably don't realize that Leonard Skinner sang. So you will get to hear them at this
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and hit the details one more time. Rock for Wayne. It's 7 to midnight, Friday, July 26th. Up to $12,000 can go to the foundation at Wayne Community to benefit students. 3 great bands: Donald Thompson Band, Adam Hill, and Second Helping. Get your tickets in advance at the link. $30 in advance, $40 at the door for 4 hours of music. So music lovers, there's no excuse not to be in the auditorium for that event. It's going to be for the foundation of Wayne Community, and it was organized by our friend here that's a history teacher there at Wayne Community, which is so cool that he's dedicating time for this. Food trucks are going to be there, a great event for the whole family, lots of great food out there as well. And anything else that I didn't hit? I think I hit all the bullet points. They just need to come out, right? You
Gotta
said,
be
like,
there.
3 words.
You gotta
say
be
something
there.
that You've got to be there.
Yeah.
Well, here's a little a good trivia thing. I don't know if he'll do it, but
Oh,
one of the
gosh.
things about John. So when everybody comes and see, they'll see John sing. John is insanely good.
Yeah.
And
We just saw.
we've been in a couple different bands together, and he's just a fantastic singer. Doesn't hit flat notes or sharp notes. It's uncanny.
Yeah.
And we were in a band that was kind of an all-star collection of musicians in Eastern North Carolina, and we were playing these different songs. Like, well, that dude sounds like everybody. He's literally a vocal impressionist. I mean,
That's awesome.
The guy sounds like Meatloaf. It's exactly like the.
Kind of looked like him a little bit too.
He sounds just like the Creedence guy with that
Yeah.
voice. Oh, it's crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
The other thing about John, he used to be the lead guitar player in this band, and we lost our first singer. Great guy, great guy. He retired and got out of it, and we're like, oh my gosh, what do we do? And there was a couple of people that we were looking at. Here, John, it's like, well, he's the guy.
This is the one.
Yeah, so he went from guitar to. It's funny at sound checks, he'll grab a guitar and he's ripping on this thing. It's
Yeah.
like, isn't that the singer? Yeah.
Yeah.
It
yeah,
is.
He can play guitar too.
He can play guitar too.
That's great though. I mean, multifaceted. I like that. Guys, is there anything else we need to talk about?
If you don't be at the show, you're going to miss out.
Yeah.
I think
Seriously,
that's what-
you're going to miss out on a great show and a way to help students.
Yeah, that's
in the
the
community.
big push. Get off the $30. Come on, Skinner fans. Get off the $30. You know.
Even non-Skinner fans. I mean,
Yeah.
just it's great music all the way around.
Well, and you know they had mentioned that they're seeing how this one goes. So you're looking at future concerts could
Yeah.
be coming back.
Which is so cool.
Yeah.
And to our younger demographic out there, if you know who Shinedown is, they did Simple Man.
Yeah.
That's a Leonard Skinner song.
You know, it's so funny you mentioned that. So I have a radio background, country music. Never was really huge into Skinner, but it's so funny how many other bands are doing Skinner songs now.
Metallica.
Yeah.
Eric Church has a Curtis Lowe cover. That's how I found out about Curtis Lowe. And then I'm like, oh, Skinner.
Peter
you know,
Frampton.
You know, there's so much of that. It really is kind of embedded in music history now with everything that Leonard Skinner did. And so yeah, that's why I said, you know, these songs that people have heard were Skinner songs to begin with. So
Yeah.
it's kind of really cool to see that kind of come back around now, and it's kind of a resurgence. So that's what I'm saying. People have been like, oh wait, I know this song. Yeah, it was a Skinner song before it was another. So yeah, a great event, a lot of great music, $30 in advance, and again, all for the foundation and helping students, which is the most important part. So we hope everyone will be at the show coming up later on in July. Guys, thank y'all so much for stopping by.
Thanks for
today,
having us.
and we'll see you out at the Rock for Wayne show.